Hi there, welcome to another episode of Making It Happen with Amanda Kaufman. This week I am sharing one of the most important productivity tactics that I've learned and one that I have to keep reminding myself of on a regular basis, and that is that managing your energy is more important than managing your task list or schedule. I always have a little chuckle when I hear the term managing time, because the thing is, we can't really manage time per se. We all get 168 hours a week to do our thing, and you can't create or destroy time, at least not in this dimension. And so managing your energy is actually a lot more important than whatever task list application that you use or the categories or the systems that you have in place. Those things are certainly important and they can be helpful, but without the energy to be able to show up into those systems, they won't matter. I'm here to tell you, you can have the most awesome task list procedure that there is, and if you don't have the physical energy, emotional energy, and mental energy to take on the tasks and actually do them, guess what? You won't. So, before I really jump into it, this is for you if you've ever had good intentions to get something done and just never seem to have found the time to do it, right? This is for you if you've ever scheduled time intentionally with yourself to get to it, to get something done, only to get on the other side of the day and find that you actually haven't done it, right? How many of you have had that problem? Or how about this one? I know I should be doing something or even need to be doing something, but I just feel completely overwhelmed and like I can't possibly manage one more minute of effort. I think pretty much everyone has that kind of a outstanding to-do, whether it's a conversation, whether it's forming a healthy habit, whatever that thing is. I think you know what I'm talking about. So whenever the subject of productivity comes up, usually the focus is on systems or how to manage that task list or how to go about setting up your schedule. And all those things are what I would call outer blocks. They're things you can see, that if you can resolve those and have those in place, it's like the basic infrastructure to get the thing done. But it's our inner blocks, the things we can't see, the thought patterns, the emotions, the mindsets. Those are the things that really get in the way of progress, especially if it's something that doesn't come easily to us, that there's a little bit of a struggle. And you know what? I have been there. Honestly, I'm actually there on a regular basis. I constantly have to remind myself, manage your energy, Amanda. I'm an ambitious person, so I'm always coming up with new ambitions, things that I want to take on and go after, and expectations I'm really setting on myself. And it often feels like there isn't enough time in the day. But if you can manage your energy, you'll find that the output is so much greater than if you ignore that and you try to rely on just having a really great fancy looking task list, right? Or some cool way that you manage your calendar. So the fact is, you get the same amount of time every week. That's 168 hours every week. And definitely plan your days and schedule, but you need to plan how you're going to manage your energy if you're really going to crush it. I can go on about this for days. I have gone on about this for days in the past, but this week I'm going to keep it nice and punchy, and I'm offering you some ideas of experiments, things that you could try for yourself, and if you like them, keep them. If you try it out and you find it's awful, let it go. Maybe it's not for you. That's cool, but I hope you'll give some of these strategies a try. The first one is, whether you're an early bird or a night owl, go ahead and schedule those really tough to get to things in the morning. Why? The really simple reason is that you won't have the distractions of the day to throw you off course that you then have to slog your way back to getting on track. If you've already gotten it done at the beginning of the day, it's out of the way, and that's that. Which brings me to point number 2. if you identify as being a night owl in particular, there have been studies that suggest that actually most people are not night owls. Night owl being somebody who's most mentally sharp in the evening versus an early bird who is most mentally sharp in the morning. I thought I was a night owl because in the industry I was working in, everybody was a night owl. And what it really was that I was obsessed with my task list and getting things done. And I noticed that people didn't bother me as much at night. So I could get to the end of the day and do one more thing, push myself to 2 and 3 in the morning, if not all night, and come out the other side kind of feeling like, huh, and then doing it again. The experiment is this. If you identify as being a night owl in particular, try going to bed that you are in bed sleeping for 9 hours every night for 2 weeks. That is the challenge. This is what I discovered. When I forced myself to do it, I realized that it was the quiet time that I was valuing. And it turns out there are quiet hours in the morning that are even higher quality hours than the nighttime because so many people do identify with being night owls. So you're likely to see an email come across at 11 o'clock at night compared to 5 a.m. Very rare do you see 5 a.m. emails. So it turned out that I was actually, just like the studies suggested, a morning person just like anybody else, so long as I went to bed early enough and I cut off my activities. For this experiment to work, I found I needed 4 or 5 days of a good amount of sleep in a row before I could really see results because it was actually a bit disorienting. I was so used to only getting about 6 hours of sleep a night, and it made such a difference. All right, so next tip, exercise in the morning. So we all know exercise is good for you. It could be as simple as a walk. It doesn't have to be this huge intensive effort. And if it is an intensive effort, then great. The sense of accomplishment and the feel-good hormones that you're going to have in your body really serve you to really get going at the beginning of the day and you get the most done. So that's another tip. Number 4, watch your caffeine addiction. If you're one of those people that needs to have multiple cups of coffee in order to even function during the day, it probably means you're not getting enough rest at night. And the caffeine can cause jitters. It can prevent you from being more emotionally resilient as you're going through the day because caffeine really can have an impact on you. So dial it back. Be prepared for maybe a headache or two for the first few days when you're getting off of that habit, but thank me later. It can make a big difference. Number 5, practice awareness of your emotions and when you are passing judgment on things, good and bad judgment. And the reason that that's important is that if you know how you're feeling and when you tend to feel that way, and you can start to see what triggers you, you can start to see maybe there's patterns in the time of the day. I'm more likely to be grouchy towards the end of the day when I'm tired after having had a long day, and I'm more likely to be in a great mood in the morning. Knowing that, I can kind of correlate that to what I intend to have done, that I can show up more powerfully. So my suggestion for this experiment is just have a handy little journal, a piece of paper or something, and jot down how you're feeling. And if you're technologically inclined, there are apps for that. So just check out the iTunes store, the Android stores, and see if you can find a tracker if that's your jam. But honestly, you can do it with a Post-it. It doesn't need to be too complicated. Number 6, watch your mouth. If you find yourself telling yourself, I need to do this, I have to do that, it's a very judgmental and draining way of framing a task that you're about to undertake. So before you even started, you're energetically speaking feeling very pulled down and weighted already. So a fun experiment is to replace the word have to with the words get to. I get to do this thing. Sometimes it feels pretty weird because sometimes there's things that we're really not comfortable with doing. It really feels like a have to, but you force yourself to say get to, and it makes you think of, well, why am I fortunate that I get to do this thing? Good example is paying your cell phone bill. I get to pay my cell phone bill. Who wants to pay a bill, right? Well, I get to pay a cell phone bill because I have the money to afford having a cell phone that I've enjoyed for the last month. just for an example. Number 7, solve an irritating problem today. We all have these little things that bug us, that we have had bug us every day or every time we go to do something and not resolved. So if you've got your cell phone battery dies on you constantly, or you've got an issue with your car that needs to get fixed, or any of those little things that you keep tolerating and putting up with, fix it. Get it fixed. It's like this big friction fix for energy. If you can just get those little things taken care of and stop carrying around the burden of the frustration of having to deal with it. Great tip. So some ideas for reflection. What else can you do to enhance your energy and productivity? And if you like this week's episode, I hope that you're already subscribed. And if not, go ahead and subscribe and go ahead and just share it. Share it with your friends, with your family, anybody that you think would like to make it happen. I hope you have a really great week, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.